Welcome to KIRSTIcast, the show where we hope to illuminate, entertain, and engage our listeners, helping them create the life they want. I'm your host, Kirsti Manna. Welcome, everybody, to KIRSTIcast. I'm Kirsti Manna, and thanks so much for being here. If this is your first time, I'm glad to see you here. And if you are a regular listener, thanks for coming back. I appreciate it so much. I'm excited today because we have power. Yes, power. I mean, I know you think I'm powerful, but what I'm talking about is
power to the people, right?
Electrical power. And I'm here with Bill Warner, and we are living through the big winter storm of 2026 here in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, they're claiming that there hasn't been a storm like this in 50 years, but I'm sure there has been. Anytime it snows more than a couple inches, it's a big storm to me. I'm not a big fan of winter activities. It's nice to look at the snow when it's coming down if you're in the house, but when you have to worry about losing power and lines breaking and all that, that is not fun. Bill?
Snow is much preferred than ice.
Yeah.
Ice is not nice.
Yeah, it's not good. But you were out there slugging away, trying to clean up the ice on the drive and all that good stuff. So we decided...
I wanted to play in the snow just a little bit. I got something to show for it.
Yeah. Bill, if you don't know Bill personally, Bill can never do anything without it being some task. He loves to have the dual opportunity there.
Yeah. Accomplish something.
Yeah, accomplish something. So we're excited for our guest today. It's a pre-recorded episode, or rather interview, with one of my favorite people that I've ever met in Nashville, Tennessee, and that's Martha Moore. She's an amazing publicist. And so we had a really good conversation, and she said she wants to come back and do another interview. So we'll have part two.
Well, she's got the energy.
She does, and that's what I love about her. She's got great energy. So we're getting ready to go in the first of the year here, January 2026, and all the plans that we have for the podcast this year and different guests that we're going to have. I never like to reveal my guests. I always like to keep them under wraps until we actually get to interview them. We interview a lot of artists on this show and writers, and so those kind of people have really crazy schedules, and sometimes they travel and so, anything you want to say, Bill, about?
I'm preoccupied with the wireless microphones that we're using because we try, I am always trying to experiment and extend the boundaries, expand the audio possibilities. So we bought these DJI 3 mics recently, and they're wireless, and I'm testing them out. I'm learning, the ins and outs. They have some internal settings I'm experimenting with.
Are they buggy?
No, they're they're not going to sound like a studio mic.
Right.
So that, of course,
freaks you out.
Freaks me out, yeah. Just about completely puts me out of commission.
Well, we did buy the mics to do stuff out in the field.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily for studio mics, but we thought we'd give them a shot and see what we think of them.
No, they're very popular for podcasters, and they're intended for a lot of live stuff.
Yeah.
I just thought
Well, we're live right now.
Yeah. They have a real extended reach. They're very very good for what they're intended to do. It's just that they don't sound like studio mics.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to deal with that.
Well, January is always a funny month, isn't it? It's a good month to try to get things done, and I hope those of you out there are working on that. And I just have to mention before I go on, if you want to check out my Instagram coming up soon, I'm going to have a surprise for you on there, a free giveaway on there. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I hope that you're going to check it out, and we'll be letting you know when that thing actually launches. And so this month, we're going to be getting, like I said, a lot of things done. We're going to be doing some more interviews and doing some recording and hunkering down for the month of January. January always seems like the big follow-up to Christmas. You know, we work our tails off all through the year, and then we get to Christmas time, and there's so much that goes on in Nashville, music business parties and things like that. And so after those all are over, we're kind of just like, let's take a little time for ourselves.
I kind of like January just because
I do too.
Can get a lot done and you can be very focused.
Yeah. So what are you doing out there, my listeners? What are you doing in January? What are you doing in January that's setting you up for the rest of the year? You know, email me at info@songwritergirl.com or post on one of my socials. I'm just really curious what you're doing to open the door for the year. January, I think it actually means door. And so I always think it's really cool to think about what you're opening the door for the rest of the year. So I hope you have a lot of big plans. Well, without further ado, let's get to this fantastic interview with Martha Moore. It's always so fun to talk to her. I know you guys are going to enjoy hearing what she has to say. So don't you go anywhere. We're going to be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to KIRSTIcast. And I'm so excited to finally have nailed down a time to talk to this amazing woman who I've known for some years here in Nashville. And recently we've worked together with an artist, Tori Martin. And I just want to tell you about her really quickly. There's so much to say about her, but I'll let her get to, she loves to talk, obviously, because she is a PR person. And they are some of the most fun people to talk to in the music business. So she's a multi-market media force, and she truly is. Her name's Martha Moore, and she is from Washington, D.C. She was born there with some, she describes it, I love this, 2 Capitol Hill overachievers. I think that's great. I love that information. And she went to school at UT Knoxville and got a BS in communications. And I think it was in Knoxville. I'm going to ask her about this. She first started as a copywriter at WKGN Radio, and then she moved to Nashville and she went to WLAC Radio. And then she quickly got involved with working at record labels like ABC, MCA, and also Mercury Polygram Records. And she worked with so many cool artists. You know, let me read this list. Kiss. I love this one. Bon Jovi, please. Brenda Lee, the Barkays, George Strait, the Oak Ridge Boys, and many, many more. And then she opened her own company called So Much More Media way back in 1988. She's been cranking it all this time. And she has this crazy nickname called Skates. And I'm going to get her to talk about that. But the first artist that she signed when she first opened her company was Johnny Cash. Wow. So let's welcome her to KIRSTIcast. Here she is, the one and only Martha Moore.
Hello.
Hi, Martha. Thanks for being here.
Hey, loving this. Go ahead.
Well, we could talk for days, and you always have so much to say, and I've learned so much from you. The one thing I wanted to ask you to start out with was, how has the business of PR changed since you first started your company? What do you think are some of the things that are really different in the business now?
I would say first and foremost is the internet.
Yeah.
And cell phones.
Yeah.
I mean, there were Blackberries when I started, but now you can do everything on your cell phone.
Yeah.
So, which is your baby hand computer, so to speak.
Yeah.
Other things that have changed in the business, or in particular for a publicist, are the online platforms that didn't even exist back in the late 80s.
Yeah.
And one of the best things, and I know publicists will say, "Oh gosh, there are fewer print publications." Well, yeah, there are fewer print publications, but there are zillions of online publications.
Oh, I
So
think so much more opportunity in that respect, right?
so much more opportunity in that respect. I'm still sort of an old head in the fact that I do subscribe to several printed publications to help support them, but most of them are international.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I get French, Australian, UK publications,
Yeah.
so that are print, and I just love turning the page. Um, I like turning the page.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taking your place
Well, there's
outside.
something very romantic about paper, I think, I always like the thing that, you can hold a Billboard magazine, you can hold a magazine and look at it. And even though some of them have reduced their sizes and you have to practically get a magnifying glass out to read this stuff. But I think that's really exciting when an artist picks up a paper publication and they're on the cover or they're feature, inside that.
Yeah.
What countries in Europe do you think, I'm just going to jump onto country music here for a second, do you think really support country music the most?
England and France.
Why France, do you think? Out of every.
They still have some country music festivals in the
Okay.
summer.
Hmm.
I mean, there's several countries that have festivals in the summer, Norway, Finland, Denmark, Japan, et cetera, et cetera. But in particular, the French are, they have a sweet spot where they still bring over bands and perform at these
Hmm.
festivals. And England is the same way, but England's is more along the lines of Wembley or C2C festivals.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you know,
That's a big one.
yeah, they're
I've
big.
known a lot of people that play that. So, why does an artist need a publicist?
Um, Not every artist needs a publicist. I think it depends on where you are on your career development.
Hmm.
Um, when you first start out, and I'm just going to recommend this right away to anybody starting out, please get to know your local press.
Hmm.
If you live in Austin, get to know your local press. If you live in Boston, if you live in Greenville, North Carolina, get to know your local press, um, because that's where it really all started. The exception would be Nashville. If you live in Nashville, it's really hard to get arrested in a in the newspapers here.
Yeah.
So you have to get to know, particularly in Nashville scene.
Hmm.
You'll have to know any webzines that are here, that sort of thing. But Nashville's a little bit different a beast. But know your hometown press. Please get to know them. Get to know your TV people, get to know your radio people, and get to know your newspaper.
Yeah.
Please. That's
That.
that should be your core list, because if and the smaller the town, the better.
Yeah.
I know that sounds totally opposite from what you're thinking, but it's very important. And I'm sorry, I'm a little off topic. What was the next question?
No, I was just going to say that I think, so many artists, they're so caught up in social media and everything, they don't think about the grassroots part of that, which,
Oh,
is
I
important.
know. You asked me, artists, why do you need a publicist? Again,
Yeah.
you don't need a publicist in the very beginning. You can do a lot of it yourself. First, get your local press and everything, local radio, print, and TV. Get to know these people. It's not that hard locally.
Yeah.
Um, but when you need when I recommend that you need a publicist is when you've been overwhelmed, and you've already got that set. But
Yeah.
when you're touring, that
Ah.
that comes in as tour press is very important, and I'm telling you that publicists really shine at that. Um,
Hmm.
it's very hard work, and any independent artist will figure that out very rapidly, how hard it is. A publicist have access to source materials, and they usually cost a lot of money. I don't want
Yeah.
to, not to stave everybody off, but we have, I mean, we have unlimited sources, but you have to spend time there and you have to
Yeah.
build up those relationships. So I highly recommend, if you're going to do, a 10-date tour, 50 or more, that's the time to bring in a publicist if you have a story and you have enough going on in
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
and I'll leave
Well,
it there.
that's really and a really important thing. The other thing I was curious about is how does a publicist help shape the brand of an artist? Or are you more attracted to artists who really have that brand, not in concrete, but they're, really, it's really defined?
If an artist has a good idea of their brand, that's great. That's great. If they know who they are. I mean, we can give examples, and maybe that's where we should go with this, is the easy examples would be Lady Gaga, who is always changing her brand, but never getting away from who she is.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, perfect example of branding, that she has recreated with every album, her fashion, which is very, very much a part, very important, both from a male and female standpoint. You should know what your look is. You should know what your sound is.
Right.
Be able to describe it.
Yeah.
That's very important. And who else? Let's go over to the male end of things.
Well, somebody like a George Strait. I mean, he, to me, has never really changed his fashion, for example. When I think about George Strait, I think about a collared shirt, really pressed with a buckle and a hat. That to me he's like the quintessential singing cowboy, so to speak.
He harkens back to the old days when you're well, not Lefty Frizzell, because he was a showstopper with his outfits, but
right.
I mean, Alan Jackson is another one of those. Hasn't changed his imaging.
Right, that's a good
George is
example.
the same.
Garth Brooks is kind of like that too.
Yeah. And then when he jumped over into the pop album or the rock album, when he took on another persona, it was really horrible. But
yeah, I wasn't a fan of that.
In my opinion, it was terrible.
Yeah,
but that's
I didn't get it.
He went under a pseudonym for that. He changed and went under an alias, and he was somebody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all interesting. But yeah, you can see Garth Brooks in the very beginning wearing those split white and black shirts and stuff like that. Black hat. He was a black hat guy.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what color hat he wears now. Cowboy
I don't
hat.
either. I think he still wears black hats a lot.
Okay.
When I think about him, I think, well, I just saw him on the Kennedy Center Awards, and I think he was wearing a black hat. Now, I want you to touch on this thing about this nickname, Skates.
Okay.
That is a
story.
you in the CMA article, the feature article they did on you, there was a picture of you with your skates on. So how did all that start?
Yes. Okay. So I was a big time roller skater in the 80s, late 70s actually, but big time roller skater, and continued it up through probably intensely through the 90s. But we had a roller skating club at Charlotte Roller Rink in Nashville.
Oh my gosh.
We would skate every week.
I loved roller skating too. I went roller skating seriously when I skated outside. I went roller skating at the Rollercade in Boardman, Ohio. I was there every weekend, every Saturday, probably not, as long as you, but for a good 10 years, I was into roller skating.
And it's a blast. It's good exercise.
I love it. You get to hear music.
Yes, you get to dance on skates or dance on the sidelines if you can't skate that well.
Yeah.
But we did have this. They were called the Music City Rollers.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Most all, I would say majority of the people who skated were in the music industry. And we had all kinds of people at record labels. We had some radio people. We had
You're kidding me.
Oh, it was great.
Wow.
It was great. I mean, even Byron Hill, songwriters.
Wow.
Roller skated. Oh my God. But from there progressed, I would, and everybody knows you have to have a way to distribute your news. At that time, okay, this is in the late 70s and early 80s. We had fax machines. We didn't really have anything, otherwise you had to go there physically. You either mail your photo, and again, this is an 8x10 photo, and your
Yes.
cut line or your press release. You had to mail it, or you'd have to run it down to their office. One of
I
the ways.
remember the headshots because I was in an acting, and I would get headshots made at Star Photo on
Yes,
Music Row.
they were
That
great.
place was really fast, the
It
way
was
they could turn around your
fantastic.
shots.
Exactly. So we had different kinds of photos that you would be taking would be either action shots or grip, what we call grip and grin, at an event, or just they would just need a headshot. We had all sorts of options as to
Yeah.
what you needed. But I would, because I was athletic and I could skate down those hills on Music Row, and there was a one hill, and it was the hill to Record World. And no, I'm sorry, apologize. It was Cashbox. Cashbox was in the Fair and Young building, and you had to go down a hill, and it's pretty steep. And that's that. The building still exists, but anyway, it's the grade is pretty steep. So I would put on my skates. I'd put my photo and press release in a manila envelope, and I would put it in between my teeth or in my hand, depending on if I was skating flat. I was skate, and I could have it in my hand,
Yeah.
and still look cool. And then, but as soon as you hit that downward grade, you had to quickly, again, I would carry it in my teeth. I mean, I know it sounds very weird. I'd be skating down the road.
Yeah, people were like, "What is wrong with that woman?"
So,
Did you wear knee pads when you were going to do these big hills? Did you have knee pads
no,
on?
no, I did
You
not.
went you went cold turkey.
It went cold turkey. So up come up came the this is when I was at MCA. Up came the Dottie West, Kenny Rogers tour in the round, and the Oak Ridge Boys were the opening act. And if
Wow.
anybody knows anything about the sweet and wonderful Joe Bonzel, is he was an excellent skater from Philadelphia. I mean, he used to skate all the time. So he and I on the
That
tour,
sounds great.
he and I would skate out in the parking lot. I'll never forget Terre Haute was our first one. First stop on the tour in the round. It was in the round, but we would skate in the parking lot. I don't, and then one of my favorite places to skate, and I skated by myself, but this is after the press conferences we would have. I'll have to back up to that. But I
Yeah.
did roller skate in the afternoon at the Superdome, upstairs, all the way around the outside.
Wow.
Almost got arrested. There were some other kids up there. I don't know how they got up there, but anyway. So, and the cops came on their little, their little golf carts and said, you're really not supposed to be skating at this. Now, this has been a while. Was long the original Superdome, right? We're skating, and they said you'll really have to go down. And I explained to them that I was working with the Oak Ridge Boys, and that I was just having some fun, getting some exercise, and they were fairly nice. So the press conferences at each one of these in the round facilities, we had Dottie and Kenny had their own publicist. His name was Guy Thomas, and he from Los Angeles, and he would have all his press materials. He'd have his press kits done in those beautiful shiny folders. I mean,
Mhm.
very paper, all paper. And
Yeah.
then I would cruise in with my briefcase because I had to have a briefcase. It'd be bulging because you'd have your CDs in there as well, and your press materials and everything. I wheel into the press conference, always held on that bottom floor of any auditorium, think
Mhm.
municipal auditorium or wherever you want to think,
Yeah.
all flat concrete. And that's really hard to walk in boots and fancy and good looking shoes. No, but a breeze if you're on
No
roller skates.
skates.
Breeze if you're on roller skates. So breezed into these
And you can
conferences.
zip from person to person very quickly.
Exactly. And so as I breezed in, Guy Thomas is introducing me and says, and Oak Ridge boys are sitting at the table. Okay, they're all spread out on the table. I'm cruising in, so that everybody could interview them and things like that. So I roll in and he said, and this is Martha Moore. She is the publicist for the Oak Ridge Boys, and here she comes. Oh my God, on roller skates. That's about what he said. Because he had no idea that I was roller skating in the press conference. And from that tour, which was really sweet, Joe Bonsall talked the other boys into sending me a satin jacket. I have all my satin jackets from the Oak Ridge Boys, but it said across my heart, it said skates. It said
Oh,
skates on there, and so from that point on, from that tour on, everybody knew me as Skates on the
that's so
road.
great. I love that.
Long story, sorry.
That's a really great story. I've heard you talk about skates before, the whole way you got that, but I don't remember you telling about how you got that nickname like that. That's pretty.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
cool.
pretty defined
And
moment.
back in
That's
that
such.
closet back there, I got all my Oak Ridge Boys skates jackets. Yeah, and I also
Then
have.
did you bring a pair of shoes? You'd also bring a pair
Oh
of
yeah,
shoes and
oh
just
yeah.
like have them jammed in that briefcase too.
Uh, you know, yeah, I guess, or I had them on the bus. I mean,
You had them
honestly,
somewhere.
yeah, so that I could go and change for the show. Yeah,
Yeah.
in
Now,
my
how did you land Johnny Cash? How did you meet him? How did you get to work with him?
so very cool. Johnny, Johnny was on Mercury Polygram. We had a
Okay.
couple of albums on him. They were produced by Steve Popovich, who
Okay.
also did Meatloaf, et cetera, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. But he ran the label, and he was a head of A&R for us, and he was produced the album um, uh, on the label. When I started my company, I started it on November 1 of '88. Within a month, I don't recall exactly how long it took, but I would say probably within a month, I got a call from Johnny Cash's office and said, "We have a project for you. Will you take this on?" I'm going, "Yes, I need clients." And yes, of course, this is Johnny's office. And the first project I did was I spent seemed like the next 2 months in the archives at the Country Music Hall of Fame,
Oh,
which was on Music Row. It was based on Music Row, but sort of behind, right there at the circle. Okay,
okay.
right there at the circle. Okay, or the roundabout.
Yeah.
It was right there, and I spent down in the bowels of the building because it was dark down there. It seemed like it was dark, but it was in the archives. And I'd be going
Oh,
through film. I'd be going through footage.
oh,
That's what they
that's
wanted me to
so
do is go
interesting.
through and categorize footage and that sort of thing, which was, because they would be using it for documentaries and other things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so that started my long, long relationship with the Country Music Hall of Fame. I'm a big time supporter
Yeah.
of the Hall of Fame, and I go there often.
Yeah.
Um, I was there this last Saturday.
It is a lovely museum.
It
It
is.
it
It's,
really is. I
it's
love what they do, and I've been to several events at that. Is it called the Ford Theater? What's the name of that theater where they have events?
Uh, there are two. The one is the Ford Theater, which is right there in the lobby. And then, of course, there's the one up on the third or fourth floor,
Yeah.
which is where they have the Country Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony,
Okay.
which is, a private event.
I've been to things there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're a big supporter of women and you're involved with the wonderful Source organization. How did you get involved with Source and what inspired you to join up?
Wow. It is an invitation only organization.
Mm-hmm.
You can recommend, future members and things like that. But when I got involved with it, it was wow, man. Um, Probably isn't that terrible? I would say over 25 years ago, but I was going to say maybe as many as 30 years ago, I was
Mm-hmm.
invited to a meeting at somebody's house, which was right down the street from me. I lived on over there off of Hillsborough Road, and went to their Christmas party. Somebody invited me as a guest to the Christmas party, which was very cool. Dirty Santa, love that. And then I got an invitation. I got a phone call because we weren't using really emails at that time.
Right.
And said, we would like you to come in and be a new member if you would be willing to. And the organization is a real supporter of women at all levels. There's several organizations that do that, but Source is the one I'm really involved with. Probably the first one to really honor and acknowledge the achievements of the women behind the music,
Yeah.
which means everything from publishing to secretaries, executive secretaries, radio promoters,
All these people that
advertising.
keep it rolling that you never
Yeah.
really see. And I've been to
Yes.
one Source Awards dinner, and it was really inspirational and it was really moving. I thought, and some of those women that got up, they didn't even know what to say, because they weren't people. They were so behind the scenes. They weren't people that were, getting any kind of spotlight or anything like that. And so they were just doing their job and, being supportive to whatever company they were working with, however they were supporting those artists or whatever
It
in the industry.
it's a very humbling experience to get up and sit and talk about uh, your achievements or thank people and things like that.
Mhm.
Even though I'm in PR, I'm on the other side of the camera.
Right.
That's where I prefer to be. My clients are in the spotlight, so
Yeah.
it put me in the spotlight. And to be honest, I know there's footage of my speech, but it's a total blur in my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea what I really said unless I go back and look at it's up on YouTube.
Yeah.
But when I was honored, I was speechless when somebody called me and told me that they wanted to honor my 25 years plus of being in the business.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was my peers that had made that decision. It's pretty humbling.
Yes.
Pretty humbling. I mean, it's like the Academy of Country Music Award or the Grammys, for
Yeah.
for me, because
Yeah.
I'm,
It's really cool.
yeah,
Was
it's
she,
pretty
I
cool.
think Judy Harris, was she not one of the people that, started the organization? And she was a publisher that would sit and listen to a lot of my songs when I, started out writing when I first got to Nashville. And, as a songwriter, you always appreciate those people. You think about they were listening to all my stuff, and some of it wasn't too great. And how many other writers were they spending their time with? And it's just really a labor of love when you think about all the time that people spend in the music business helping other people, and nobody ever knows that they did it. They don't get paid for it. They're just doing it because they love it. And that's what I have always loved about the Nashville community. As much as people can say, oh, it's changed, it's this, it's that, I still think that Nashville's really a unique place in that way. So,
Definitely. One of the biggest changes is the landscape. So,
yeah, of course.
and if you can get beyond the landscape, which would used to be so cool because you used to go to like writers' house, to the songwriting house. They
Yes.
were in houses. I mean,
Yes. And
in
that was so
house.
quaint.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even like the Bluebird, now
Oh yeah.
anybody can play the Bluebird. I think it's kind of flipped, the whole purpose of the Bluebird in that sense. But back in the day, when you'd go there, and it really was a place where writers hung out.
Oh yeah.
There you'd see all these hit writers and everything hanging out on any given night. And I always thought that was just the coolest thing ever.
It is.
I always ask my guests this question. What is your stay inspired story? What is something that happened in your life or your career that just has always stuck with you, and you think about it, or you know keeps you going if you're getting down, whatever you want to call it. But what is something that's always inspired you?
Is it- uh, Yeah, there's many things, but I would say probably going back to the first one that and again, I'll reach back to several things, but the first one was my mom.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
I'll never forget being back in her office. I used her IBM Selectric typewriter to do all my papers on. This is high school. Okay, high school. And I feel like I get stuck on some words or something, or I felt like I just couldn't do it. And she come and she would put her hands on my shoulders and say, "You got this, you know, just work through it. Here's a dictionary, Martha, and look it up if you get stuck on a word." And that's the worst
cool.
part is if you get stuck on a word, you're going, "Oh my
Yeah.
God." But now you computer, you can go right over there to AI or anybody and look up a word and
Yeah.
a synonym and things like that. But my mom, she would just say, she said, "Yeah, you can do this. Just stick at it. Breathe. I'll come back in about, and I'll come back in a little while and check on you and see how well you've done."
Oh,
That
that's
and that
nice.
and that was really inspiring to me. My mom was my biggest mentor. If I could be as way cool as as my mom would be the coolest. So, and I hope
That's
now she's passed away 10, 12 years ago, and I think of her often. If I get in like a place where I'm like tensing up and think, "Oh, I'm getting nervous about this," no,
oh, that's cool.
she was
Well,
just she knew I could do it.
she's really instilled confidence in you because I've been around you quite a bit, and I never ever feel any kind of that vibe from you that you're not sure. Um, I feel the same way about my mom. Passed away about 5 years ago, but my mom my mom loved music more. I swear, almost than anybody I've ever known. And she knew all the songwriters. She was really into who wrote the songs. And so she was always buying me piano books of, certain songwriters, like Burt Bacharach. I'll just use him as an example, and Hal David. And she would buy me these music books and have me learn this music, and so I always was into who wrote the songs, like, I mean, classics way, way back. And of course, I was in musical theater too. So, you know, I always knew all those people as well. But our
Yeah, our
moms,
moms, we couldn't live without them.
I'm telling you, they're the best. Well, I'm going to ask you this last question, and you probably have five of them. But what's your power word, or does it change?
You know, I thought about this for a long time. I think I sent you an email and said, "What do you mean about a power word?" Because I don't have a power word.
Mm.
Um, I will draw. I know this will sound strange, but I draw my power from really feeling good about myself. And what
Mhm.
makes me really feel good is I put on one of two records, and they are or streams or whatever you want to call it. Is one is Everybody Wants to Rule the World. I used to play that song every day at Mercury Polygram at the end of the day.
Oh,
Sounds weird.
wow.
At the end of the day, my office was upstairs in this two-story house, and on the row, and I would jam it so loud, and I would just it was empowering to me.
Yeah.
And then the second thing, or the other songs that I switch up now because of course everybody knows that song, but I do get excited every time I hear that song. It's Bruno Mars, and I don't care what song it is by Bruno Mars. I'm loving the one right now. I'm loving I Like It, or I Get It, or whatever it is. I'm bad with titles, but it's disco, it is dance, and put on the video. I did this yesterday afternoon just to get in a good mood.
It's
And
a
then when
good
you get in a
skating
good mood,
song.
yeah, yeah, it's a good just to get in a good mood because that makes me happy. It makes me happy. It makes me feel good. And when I feel good, I feel powerful. And that
Yes.
is, I have,
Yes.
yeah, I know that's crazy, but that's what,
So you don't have words, you have power songs.
yes,
And
I have power songs.
I get that.
Yeah.
That is so cool, and that's what's so great about music. And you brought up Bruno Mars in a conversation we were having the other day, and you should definitely go see him if you love his music that much because he is such a super talent, and his shows are just incredible. He's really inspiring. I love him.
Yes. And
Was
he's cute. And he's
and
cute
he's
too.
very cute. Yeah,
And he's cute too.
he's a cute one. Well, it's been a great pleasure, Martha, as always, to talk to you, and thanks for making the time because I know you've got a busy schedule and you have a lot of people that you're trying to get out there to the world and get everybody to see and hear and listen to and want to know and book and all those things. There's a lot that goes on being a publicist. It's not just about putting somebody's name out there. It's about all these things that an artist dreams of having. And I think you're, one of the most amazing women I've ever met. So thanks for being here today. And everybody stick around. We're going to be right back. Thanks so much to Martha Moore for being our guest on KIRSTIcast. And I'll be back in a second.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. I've spent years of self-discovery learning how to live a successful creative life. That's why I created my course, Spark Your Creativity, the Steps to a Successful Creative Journey, to help others discover their own potential. Your creative journey never ends. So why not invest in yourself and sign up for my course today at Kirsty.com. See you on the journey. Well, I want to thank everybody for stopping in today to check out KIRSTIcast. And we're excited, like I said, for more episodes. We want to thank, again, our special guest, Martha Moore, with So Much More Media. She's located here in Nashville, Tennessee. And so we hope you're going to check her out. If you need any PR, she is somebody you want to contact to see if she has an opening and you could work with her. And we'll thank Bill Warner for being my always special guest, most specialist of the guests in my opens. And if you want to work with Bill, you can find information about him online at warnerworks.net. And we'll see what you guys can cook up together. We're going to close the show with something that I co-wrote with David Kent, and it was recorded and released by several different artists. One was Big and Rich, and then also Bridget Tatum. And it was also used for the some football league or something some years ago. It was the theme song one year. And so...
AAC.
What is it, Bill?
The AAC.
The AAC. So check it out. The ACC. I think it's the ACC.
Yeah.
It's American College or something.
No, Atlantic.
We don't even know. But at any rate, go listen to it. You can find Bridget's version. You can find Big and Rich's version. But the version that we're going to close the show with, if we ever do close the show, is my version. It's my personal version. And I love to play this song live. It's so much fun. It's called Loud. So I hope you enjoy it. Hope I'm going to see you again here on KIRSTIcast. Please don't forget to download, like, share this episode. And also, you can watch it on YouTube. You can see it on there, too, my interview with Martha Moore. So I hope you're going to do that. Please tell everybody about it. Hope you have a wonderful week. And whatever you do, stay inspired. I'm Kirsti Manna. The band. I'm all about tradition. I hang with the twang. I got just one condition now. I like it loud. I like it honking. The party won't be raving till we crank it to 11. Get it rocking. Boots are knocking. I'm gonna say it proud. I love my country and I like it loud. To make some noise. Think you're sexy, think you're strong. Come on, baby, bring it on. 'Cause boys, I ain't your mama.